Back to Supreme Black Podcast. This is your co-host, D Rose. Happy Wednesday, fellas. What's going on in y'all world, man? How everything kicking it?
Everything kicking good. Just came back from Orlando, Florida, man. My sister graduated with her master's in some type of nursing program. I don't remember which one. She got about 5 degrees. But yeah, she got her master's in the nursing program. So we had a good time down there staying on the Disney resort. Man, just wonderful to see your people having their dreams come true, this, that, and the other. So that's great to see. I also was able to go down there and knock some comedy out as well, meet some new comedians. So yeah, it was a good move to be down in Florida. Nice little weather, but it's cold. Came back Tennessee, boy, man, it was so cold. And I landed back here, I almost wouldn't have shot. But everything has been great. Congratulations to my sister Treese for graduating, and man, shout out to every comedian I met down in Orlando and the comedy spots, man. I had a wonderful time.
That's what's up right there, man. Shout out to Trees too, man. That's major. Orlando's always a good time, man. I remember when I lived down there, I had called my mama. It was like December, January, man. I sent her a picture. I had on shorts and flip flops. She said, "Boy, ain't nowhere in here, 'cause man, we freezing in Tennessee." But how the comedy shows go though?
Oh, they went real good, man. They went real good. I ain't got no complaints about that. They showed me love, man. Crushed it in there. One dude gonna send me a video. Should be getting in like the next couple of days where he recorded my set for me. But yeah, man, crushed it down there, man. Everybody loved it, man. Had a good time.
When the next show down there, man? You know I love the O now.
Now, I don't know. I'm gonna have to kick it with him and piece that together. You know what I mean? Because I didn't really get to talk to a lot. After I did the first show, I didn't really get to talk to a lot of people because I had to rush over to the next show. Okay. So yeah, but I got contacts and stuff like that going on. So definitely gonna hit him up and see if we can get down there for another show.
That's what's up. What's going on in your world, Spears, man?
Salute to Treese. Congratulations. That's big. Anytime you can educate yourself at any level, but add a little piece of paper to your portfolio. So salute to her. For me, a little under the weather, but outside of that, everything's good and stuff. So been waiting on this promotion from the job for the longest that my manager and supervisor been trying to get me in, but it just wasn't open yet. But I got a hit from my manager today talking about fill out for that position because they opened it. And so just waiting for that to open up, and then about to begin this journey. Can't say what the journey is right now, but after a little while, about to begin this journey and do something with that. But outside of that, everything good. Things are moving in the right direction. I'm blessed and highly favored, and just can't wait to kick this cold. That's about it for me.
That's what's up, man. I think it's that weather change. I was like that a couple weeks ago. I damn near was hoarse the week after Flake them had left. That I don't know what it is. Like I felt like it was something in the air for real, man. But I'm gonna go on and speak that promotion into existence, man. So hey, that's what's up.
You know you was hoarse because you was standing on couches. Don't got nothing to do with that weather.
Right, ain't got nothing to do with the weather.
Hey, I was under on my best behavior, man. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do too much. Them folks made me get down off their shit like this. Hey, but no, that's what's up, man. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to speaking into existence, man. I gotta claim that. But even with that other move though, I like how you moving with that. Not saying too much, just gonna move with action behind it. When they know, you feel me?
Yes, sir.
Everything been great on my end, man. I got back in the mode of, got me some miles in over the weekend. It was a very great weekend. Sunday, my God, boy, how about them Cowboys, fella? Yeah, I don't want to talk. Oh, okay.
What's there to talk about? I mean, we made a father that, what? I mean,
okay.
NFL 32. We made a father that was 26. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, Flake. Let's ride.
Right. Hey, season's been over since week 7. Man, get out of here.
What? Week 3, I got on to put them colors up. I'm saying we straight this shit, man. We don't wait till the draft. Yeah, but no, man, it's been a great weekend, man. I really can't Can't complain. Like I say every week, everybody's still here, everybody's still prospering, you know, and that's just really what we're here for. But to get into the topic, man, first and foremost, rising power to Tyre Nichols. It was a young black man that was killed by 5 black police officers in the city of Memphis, Tennessee. They have yet to release the videos, but I think pretty much, unless you live up under a rock, you are pretty aware of what has occurred. We've yet to see it. I think they have Ben Crump on the case. There's been a lot of national attention around it. They have compared it to Rodney King, so that's what we're going to discuss. I don't really know how to even find the words with this one because honestly, ain't no race baiting with this one. This is just strictly what it is. You know, cowards in uniform.
All you skin folk ain't your kin folk. You hear me?
Yeah. What's y'all thoughts, man? Once you heard of the story, I started with this. Once you heard the story, what were your initial thoughts? And then when you found out the real story, what was your reaction?
Well, first and foremost, I do just want to touch on this topic just because we get some reviews, people say some things, and again, those people are faceless because they do it behind their keyboards on the computers and everything. But we have been called a racist program, a racist podcast, or whatever the case may be. But I just want to set the record straight. We don't discriminate against any injustice or anybody doing anything wrong. So therefore, when black people are in the wrong and the ones that are committing these atrocities, we call them out and bring their ass to the fire too. So I just want to make it clear for those people who think that, oh, we just go hard on, you know, our white brothers and sisters and Caucasians and everything. That's not the case. Again, we are supremely black, but outside of that, that does not mean that we hate or discriminate against any other race. Now, as fact as the story goes, it just really pissed me off. It pissed me off. And then, like, the thing that really made it worse is when I seen the pictures of these 5 black officers, these 5 black cowards, these 5 black pussies, and all this other stuff. Like, because they are young black men who look like us, that could be our homies, our friends, our uncles, our cousins, and everything, and they look well-groomed. They look like they got something about themselves. And then when you see and you hear the story, it's just like, damn. And then the way that they try to cover it up or keep certain facts out of the loop and out the wind is just crazy. And I'm wondering, like, what's taking so long with this video? Like, because you still don't know the full story yet because we have not seen the video. And so, like, we know that there is video, but we haven't seen it. So is it that bad? Like, is it that bad that they're afraid or they haven't released the video yet? Because one, we know how Memphis is. Memphis, you know, I don't know the actual statistics, but predominantly black city and everything, you know. And, you know, them people don't play. And, you know, so I'm wondering if once the video come out, they're afraid of something like the LA riots happening in Memphis. And that's why they're keeping the video under grasp and everything, because they said there was a press release that said the video was supposed to come out like 2 days ago or something, and it has still yet to be released. So that's like really my big concern as far as that. Like, damn, did they really go that wild and that stupid and crazy on this man? And again, rest in power, King. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, Memphis is 64% black, you know, grit and grind city. They live by that, you know, and it's not glorifying it, but just looking at the statistics, you know, top 10, probably top 5 in murder rate per capita. So, I mean, you know, it's a dangerous city. So, but my initial thoughts is I honestly thought that when it was just put out, I was expecting for it to be white officers that had killed another black man. That was my original thoughts, right? So as I got a couple phone calls, and I'm like, okay, let me look at this store. Somebody sent it to me on Instagram, so I click on it. I'm like, I don't think this is the right one. They was like, nah, that's why we sent it to you. So, you know, I would love for y'all to talk about the podcast, and Spirits had brought it up, you know, let's go ahead and make it a topic. But when I found out it was them, you know, I'm looking, I'm just like, bro, it's no way that we've gotten to a point where we got our own, literally, we do enough in the streets for ourselves. Just, you know, the accountability is there with that. But then now you got them, not even, you know, black men that look like us, not even giving a break or not even having any sense of, if this wasn't you in a uniform, bro, this could be done to you by the opposite race, but you're doing it to your own people. Like, there ain't no way to, you know, look past that, overlook it. It was really, that broke my heart more than anything, to see that our own people would handle our own people that look like you in such a fashion, to not where y'all just roughed them up and it was like, all right, bro, y'all did too much, but y'all killed him. You know, he succumbed to his injuries. You know, I think a couple of days later he died in the hospital. But it's like, bro, look, this is where we at, and it's all behind the badge, because a couple of them cats look lame. You know, I'm looking at the comments. You know, they probably used to get picked on or something, but it's like, bro, something, regardless of what race, what ethnicity, has to be done in regards to how police handle hostile situations, or hostile, situations. Like, at this point, I can't even really find the words, man. It was heartbreaking, to say the least, because I thought I clicked on the wrong article into somebody who was like, no, that's what happened in Memphis. And out of all cities, like a beautiful black city like Memphis, you know, everybody has crime, but, you know, I don't know. It's just crazy, man. What was your thoughts, Flake?
When I first heard it, I said, man, they gonna kill them white motherfuckers down in Memphis, bro. They is not finna play no games. So I heard about it in Orlando, so that was the thought that I was out of town. So that was what I got. At first, I ain't get no names, I ain't get no pictures, I ain't get nothing. But the longer we was down there, we got enough festivities, got back to the room and got the real. My comments was the same. They gonna kill them black motherfuckers right there. Cause Memphis don't play around when it comes to stuff like that. They don't really play around. Me and my sister we sitting up talking about it, and she said, them boys gonna have to move. They was like, for real. They gonna have to sneak out in the middle of the night. They gonna have to leave the city. Like, cause if they catch them out, it's gonna be a misunderstanding. This one hurt worse. It hurt worse because it's your own people. Like, you know the struggle that we've been going through as a society, dealing with police officers killing black people. And here we are, and you look at this list, and every last one of them was black. Man, that hurt my heart even more. It's like, this is ridiculous. You already understand our fight and where we come from. And then for you to do something like that on one person, like that is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the video has come out. I think they have taken the time to put the video out because they know they got to put some things in place. Because once they put that video out, a city like Memphis is a place that will riot. They will do that. And I ain't talking about when most people say they're going to riot, they're going to tear up your own community. No, they liable to go downtown and do this and tear some stuff downtown. Memphis not that city where, we going to burn down the AutoZone in our own hood. No, they going Bill Street. They going downtown. They going all the attractions. I hope they don't happen like this, but this is the type of city you dealing with. That grit and grind is for real. It ain't just a basketball court. It ain't just the Redbirds playing baseball. No, that's how the city is for real. And they don't play no games about none of that at all, especially when you come dealing with the police messing with people and killing people and stuff like that. We talking about a place where if you go to an attraction, Bill Street, the police is standing there with AR-15. So that lets you know how it goes down. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they're going to have to get some things in line, get some things in place before they release this video. I text somebody I know that's on the police force down there. I ain't got a response yet. So they let me know whatever's going on, it can't be released and they can't talk about it.
So here's another thought too, man. I've seen a lot of different questions, a lot of different reactions, and which is didn't really know how to take it, man. So people are saying it's funny how fast that they were fired before we seen a video, any investigation was done, or anything. Bless you, Flavor. Now, what's y'all thoughts on that? Because
you get the police chief is a black woman. There's not finna mess around and not finna play around. So she gonna go ahead and get them out there. Then they're gonna be at her head. So she knew off top, I gotta fire them. Another thing, when you talk about Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, they don't play around either. I spoke with a state trooper some time back, and the state trooper basically said that the TBI told them, you better not raise your gun and shoot unless you see them with a gun pointed at you. Outside of that, you better not shoot your gun. And that was a meeting they had with Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. So I felt like she had to go ahead and get rid of them and fire them because the TBI is coming and she don't want her head on the chopping block either.
So to you, because this is the actual question, you don't think race had any indicator on, how fast and swift the city of Memphis moved on that? You just think that was just the standard protocol?
Yeah, the black woman was a police chief. They're not going to play no games with y'all.
Simple.
That's how I don't think if they was white, if they was purple, if they was green, it don't matter. If they was Mexican, Asian, it don't matter. I think as soon as that video got in her hand, she seen what happened, you getting fired, and then she was so confident that they was wrong. That's why I feel like whatever this video is so bad that she was so confident that she was right. Within that amount of time, she made a decision on her own that y'all gotta go. Like it wasn't none of that, oh, let's make sure this happen, let's make sure this happen. To me, it had to be like, okay, this is an open and shut case. Like y'all had no business doing that at all. So we're not gonna waste no time with all that extra particulars giving you a week off with pay. Nah, you gone.
Yeah. So if it doesn't meet our standards, we're separated from you. That's just how it should be across the board. So you got to respect that.
That's how it should be across the damn board.
Okay, I got you. What was your thoughts on?
Because of what y'all just said, y'all last statement, that's how it should be across the board. To me, it is a racial thing because black people are the ones who are always, and I'm not saying always because of course not always. So don't make that absolute statement. But black people are always the ones who take the moral, integrity, character, high road and standard and do the right thing when it comes to times like this. We don't play that game of, oh, we gonna save these people or we gonna do this or we gonna do that just because of their skin color or because how long they've been on service. We trying to save their pension or anything like that. We don't play them games. We look at what it is, if it's right or wrong, morally, ethically. I'm sorry, I'm sick, so I can't even say it. Ethically. Oh Jesus, let me just stop. But
sound like Flake trying to read.
But yeah, and so we look at that and then we make a decision from there. And so that's why I would say it is racial, because at the end of the day, we don't play no games when it comes to stuff like this about anybody. It could have been a white person and she still would have done the same thing, I believe, or whatever the case may be. And so I think that's because black people have a different little, well, as the saying goes, we got to work 10 times harder to be in certain positions and to get certain places as other people do. So we take that 10 times harder work ethic that we put in and that blood, sweat, and tears that we put in, and we make sure that we ain't playing with our jobs or giving people a reason to get rid of us for some of the decisions that we make. So that's why I would say it is a racial thing.
Now I'm gonna throw a wrench in the game too. I meant to bring this up in my original statement. Now, as I did the research on the police officers. All of these officers are young. And what I mean is young in age, and what I also mean is they've been on the force 5 years and below. Every last one of them. So I do kind of wonder, as I spoke about over the weekend in private, I do wonder if that has something to do with it also. So you're not dealing with somebody been on force 15, 20 years, as Spears brought up, is pension gonna be in a play and all that. These brothers ain't getting no pension. There's 5 years and under. So they can get rid of them and don't have to worry about paperwork of trying to figure out if we're gonna give them pension, not gonna give them pension, how much the pension gonna be, this, that, and other. So I wonder if that also plays a factor when you're dealing with young officers.
I think, y'all made some real good points with that, and I like the way Spears tied that knot in regards to just making those executive decisions, because it is harder for us to get into those positions. And so if you're a shot caller, and let's be honest, of being a black woman in pretty much a male dominant, industry, I mean, she has to make the right decision for that, because of course everybody would be coming for a job if she didn't. And I don't know if I would say that age played a factor. I really just think in this case, severity, because if I looked at it in its entirety, I would almost think that if a black woman was in charge and it was young black males, if there was a reason of doubt for her to say, let me just make sure I thoroughly go through everything and make sure I'm not overreacting just because I know there's going to be some backlash. I am a black woman dealing with the all black male case that happened to, somebody died on our hands, with our officers. I think she, would made her have some sympathy if there was some. So I don't know if age played a factor as much as it just being with the real skin folks. We just, hey, this is what this is now. I might ride with you right or wrong, but you still was wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I, in this case, when it's jobs, hey, I can't co-sign that, because any way of me wavering or trying to play defense, I could lose my job. I could lose my credentials. This could stop my career because, yeah.
Right. As black folks, we always say, you ain't about to fuck this up for me. I done worked hard, and as it being a black woman, like y'all said, she's not gonna get the same leeway as Officer Anderson that's been on the force for 30 years. It's not gonna happen like that for her. Also, I look at this too. It wasn't a shooting. They beat this man to death. So you had plenty of time to say, hey, bro, that's enough. Hey, man, it ain't like it was a quick thought. Oh, I thought there was a gun and it wasn't. Or I thought he was reaching for something and it wasn't. You actually had time to stop and say, hey, man, what we doing here? Like, it's plenty, as you throwing punches, as you kicking, as you doing whatever, thoughts run through your mind of, hold on, somebody should be saying, hey, let's stop. What are we doing here, y'all? So you had time to think. With each punch, you had time to think. With each kick, you had time to think, whether it been a choke, or whatever it is. You had plenty of time to think. It wasn't reactionary just off. Now, the first few punches might have been. But when you jumping somebody and beating them, it's like, come on, man.
I mean, cause you said it right, because, just being in the mix, growing up around certain things, I've even heard some of the most stiff cats I didn't ever seen in my life. Once they didn't realize that you ain't fighting back, hey, bro, that's enough, man. We're gonna get on up out of here. They might run off and go on about their business. They not, unless it's just some real deal, like we gonna stand on business, it probably wouldn't have been no hands involved anyway. But if we just beating you like that, or they just beating you like that, then I don't see, even with you being in that type of predicament, like, all right, that's enough. But for you to take it to that extent, that's just an overuse of power, and it's just, you're no different from anybody else that acts behind a badge. You had a, ego stroke or something, like an ego trip. You had the badge. It's 1 on 5. Like, how do y'all get to the point where, again, police officers, now we're not talking about normal everyday citizens. These are police officers beating somebody to death. Like, what was your point? He didn't have no guns, and like, what was your point? Like, I don't get it, man. I really don't. I can't wait to see the video. Unfortunately, unfortunate circumstances, but I definitely got to see of what led to them going to that extent, to where 5 men, basically, the family had described him as they used him as a human pinata, is what came out of his people's mouth.
But the other thing is, again, because we don't have no video, so I don't know if batons was used, but that's the only way, because if you've been in scratches and stuff like that, and you've been in the paint, got jumped or jumped somebody, it's hard for 5 people to be on one person. Now, unless they got the batons out, then yeah, you could swing on somebody with 5 batons at the same time, but it's hard for simultaneously for 5 people to be on one person. And the report says that it was for 3 minutes long. 3 minutes is a long time. So they had to be taking turns and, tagging in and tagging out type stuff and everything. Or even if it was semi-simultaneously, they had to be hitting each other. because ain't no way that I'm pretty sure at some point we all know if you ain't got no out, you ball up and you protect yourself. So at some point, I believe he was balled up trying to curl him in fetal position, protecting himself, and they were just waylaying and going on him. And so they had to be, some people had to be in and out, some people had to be pushing the other people to get in the way to get their licks in. And how you just do that for 3 minutes long? Like, it don't make sense. And to your point, Rose, like, even the stiffest of cats be like, oh, nah, that's enough. He ain't want it. And again, if he wants something, then he'll come back and he'll get this again. But that's enough for now. And unless it's on something, then of course the person ain't getting up. But there ain't too many people just fighting like that, trying to kill somebody with their hands like that. Like, so I just don't see how they could do that and why they would do that and where common sense came in at. But hey, as the saying goes, common sense ain't so common. Common sense ain't so common.
Yeah, it's just, be real with you, man. You know, it's probably a lot of people won't say it. Just seeing, well, I haven't seen it, but just hearing and knowing of what the ramifications was that lead up to this point, this one hurt worse than any of the other ones that I have ever even thought about talking about or even discussing in private, is because it was our own. And we could talk, like I said, again, like we could talk about what goes on in our own community. But when you get it to that point, man, like at what point do we look at each other as, you know, brothers and sisters and be like, hey, you know what, we ain't got to be all in kumbaya and we shaking hands and speaking to everybody, but words just to respect, just to go about your normal duties, the rest of the person going about your business and vice versa. But we can't give each other the respect on the streets, and then we got authorities and law officers that look like us that still ain't. It's going to be just an all-out war amongst our people, even more. You know what I'm saying? Because now you don't respect the black cop that walk up and look like you and actually kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? You mess up that, and then for the people that pour into the communities and try to tell the kids like, hey, you know, Officer John over there, he's cool. You can't really, how do you explain that to them? You tell them about this story, they see it on the news. This was 5 black police officers that looked like they would be hooping at your local park if they weren't on duty. So it's like that type of thing. It's like we just have to, everybody got to be cool, but the lack of respect for our own people that look like us is just the issue. Like, you ain't got to be cool with everybody, but just give people the respect and just kind of stay out the way and just don't be involved with stuff like this. But if we got to this point, like, where is the hope? What do we latch on to? You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no out. You got to pray for a white cop to be the cool one and be like, hey, you know what? Here's your ticket, going about your business. You know your license suspended. Can you call somebody to come get you? You know what I'm saying? Or not? You know you got to go down, or we got to go and take you down. That's by law. You know, just the standard procedure. But when we get to this point, it's like ain't no respect. It's about the badge. It ain't even about your people. Like, ain't nothing I do, regardless of what I might. You know, at some point you just have to have respect and look at, you know what? Let's make it to see another day on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't got that. I ain't gonna lie and say we do. We don't. For the vast majority, it just seems like it's a very much of a lack of respect, no matter the age. It ain't nothing. We just out here. We every man for himself.
Hey,
I said, fuck them 5 bitch niggas, man. Shit. Yeah. And every cool police officer I ran into been black. It been police officers that's been black that put me over, and I probably did something I ain't supposed to. They be like, hey, I ain't supposed to let you do that. Now, somebody else pull you over, you supposed to do A, B, C, D. All right, let me check your registration. Everything good. All right, cool. All right, so. And make sure you get that taken care of, because the next time they probably won't give you a ticket. I ran across plenty of black police officers been cool. I ain't never ran across one that's been terrible. So if you in that city and that's the experience you had, and then you see these 5, it's like, well, damn, like, fuck, man. Like, we shit.
Well, see, I got opposite stories from you. I'm not saying I ain't never ran into no cool black officers, but I've also ran into some some officers who feel like they got to prove a point because they are black, and so then they try to go harder and do more and all that other stuff. But one of the most causing of evil or wickedness, one of the biggest causes of evil or wickedness is a fragile ego. And them five hoe ass niggas got fragile egos. For that one Tyre, that one person saying something, because he probably said something slick from the reading or whatever, because they said it was a little verbal confrontation that he ran off on them. And they got bruised egos, and because they was fragile egos and they don't know how to take words or criticism or anything, they felt like, oh, we got to get this man. But that's what it is for white folks, that's what it is for black folks, that's what it is for pink folks, green folks. And so a fragile ego will cause a lot of danger and harm, and that's just sad that people's egos are that fragile that they feel like they got to do something, take a man's life, plant some evidence on you, do whatever it is to ruin people's lives. Like, it's just sad.
You're right, bro. Ego and, lack of emotional intelligence, man. We talked about it on several episodes, man. And I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, man, but just black men in general, logic has to kick in for us a lot quicker when you leave that house, man. I can always say, Flake has always told me that because I was young and being a hothead, but he always told me they got a place for you if you don't ever move with no logic. And that just stuck with me since my first police encounter when I was in my teens in Nashville. Like, you got to move logic. They don't care nothing about your intelligence. They look at that as you disobeying, you don't want to, they going to make an example out of you however they got to do it. If it means for them to break the law to make you, held guilty for something or even have to go to court for it. So, and it don't mean cower down when you see a police officer. That's not what I'm meaning, but we just have to understand that sometimes having situational awareness about what you're in, regardless if you're the person that's in authority or the person that's, communicate with somebody like that, we just got to have emotional intelligence to realize to make it to the next day because, it's chess, not checkers, man. We just so caught up in the moment that we literally losing careers and losing lives behind something that could really just be, man, you got it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got it right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we both can go up, but we both gonna lose if you look at it that way, and it ain't about being less of a man. It's just actually being a man and realizing which means more. For me to do what I need to do to you and my people got to call me, collect for the rest of my life and on FaceTime in the prison cell, or you got it, bro. And you get in your car, you bump your little music on about your business, fire your blunt, drink your beer, or whatever you do. Just a cool ride home and just realize it wasn't that deep, man. That's really what it comes down to, because every day you test it with something that can make you go there, but is it worth it? And that's just part of growing up. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it comes down to. So it's an unfortunate situation. Go ahead, bro.
My last thing I want to say about this is, and I just thought about it, the one thing that it did save them though is the blue shield saved them is because they're not in jail yet. And I think that's the only thing that saved them is, like, they got fired, but they're not in jail yet. So I think that's the one thing that the badge did save them, and the power of the blue saved them. Like, she had to let them go, but even with the video evidence that she seen, because she seen it already, she decided not to arrest them off of what she has seen yet. So I would say that's the one thing that the badge, the power of the badge, it still works for no matter who wears it.
And also this too, though, they no longer get the protection of the shield moving forward. So they now have to fend for themselves in regards to protection and from a legal perspective. So where there's a positive and there's a negative to that. So now they gotta, do what they gotta do. And like Flake was saying, he talked with someone in private, they definitely not gonna be in Memphis. So good luck with security. Definitely gonna have to hide that. Definitely gonna have to hide that one. So, but my prayers goes out to Tyre Nichols and his family. Rising power to him. like I said, man, it's, to Spirit's point, I know he spoke about people that talk about as race, but no, it's supremely black has nothing to do with hate. And I think everybody should feel like they're superior. So it's really more or less, if you understand what supremely black means, you wouldn't question what your ethnicity does or doesn't do. To be honest with you, it's all about self-awareness and knowing what you bring to the world, and that's supremely black. But I just think that the lesson that would be learned from this, for me, let me speak for myself, is that, like I put in a little snippet video, all these skin folks ain't your kin folks, but really, man, we as a community, we all just need to look at, one, respect, and two, just, situational awareness and emotional intelligence, and that'll prevent a lot of things from happening. And I'm not speaking about just interactions with police officers. This is amongst ourselves. A lot of things ain't really that deep, and put your pride to the side. And this comes from somebody that's very prideful, but it ain't gonna get you nothing, man. If you got to disconnect from people, disconnect. But man, look, live to see another day, man. You mean more to your people here than hours away or on a T-shirt or in a vase somewhere because you got cremated after the fish fry. Just to be real with you. So that's my closing thoughts on that. What you got, Flizzy?
I was ready to go on to, they want to talk about we racist. Well, let's talk about what's really racist is. Florida.
Yeah, let's get in. Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, let's get to that. Spirits, you can introduce this one, man. I don't remember you had brought that up. I don't want to use the wrong word.
Oh, well, it's just Ron DeSantis has banned African American history, saying it lacks educational value in the state of Florida. So it's okay for them to have Korean, Latino, and some different ethnicities, AP courses and classes, but the very people who built this country, it lacks educational value for us to have an AP course and to learn about us. How's that not racist? How can you say that the very blood, sweat, and tears that went into this country in the soil, and the people who was taken from their land and brought here, and we ain't even just gonna put it on slaves, to talk about the Maya Angelos, the Langston Hughes, the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther Kings, the Denmark Vesey's, the Marcus Garvey's, the who's the dude who did invented the lights? I can't think of it. And the black man, not the man who they give credit for, but the black man. But him and everything. For us not to learn about them and to say, and I'm not gonna say us because I don't live in Florida, but if they start a breadcrumb somewhere in the States, best believe it's gonna migrate to other states. So for them to say that it lacks educational value is asinine. It's an atrocity. It's foolish. It's blasphemy. Because if you go back to history, everything comes from a black man and black woman. Everything from reading, writing, mathematics to everything. So to say you want to take away the history of our people and says it lacks educational value is a slap in the face. It's racism at its best, and it's appalling that they are able to do this in 2023.
Well, part of his excuse was they had some LGBTQ epithets in it as well in this educational process, which I did not understand on where he got that from, but it is what it is. But and some people say if you want to hide something from people, either don't teach them about it, or either put it in the book and not make that book available for people to even read about it. So therefore, I think it's a situation where if you have that type of education, I don't know what Ron DeSantis is thinking, but he knows that once, like you said, Spears, once you lay that crumb, it's gonna spread out, and then these students are gonna get to really learning about the history, the American history. It's not even African American history. It is American history. This is what happened on this land. These are the people who helped make this land what it is today. And you want to act funny style about it. So you don't want these people to know that, oh, so we still gonna lie to y'all about Columbus discovering and when he actually was lost. But that's okay. They still gonna teach that. So we still gonna teach Thanksgiving as the Pilgrims and what they call the Indians came together to have dinner and have a great time. We still gonna teach that. So you want to teach the lies, but you don't want to teach the truth.
But I missed the LGBTQ part.
That just got announced, like that just came out like yesterday, late yesterday, or either it was this morning.
Okay, but even if you talk about that and the epitaphs that might be associated with it, I don't know which ones are or not. Then you got to stop teaching art, because a lot of these pictures that you see, these old white men, these famous artists that you got, white men with their dicks hanging and with other men, and they doing some, it looked like some gay stuff in the pictures and everything, but those are celebrated, and those pieces are sold for millions of dollars and everything, and people want to glorify that. But then you want to talk about African American history, which is, like you said, like American history has some LGBTQ plus epitaphs in it, my nigga.
And you better not have a picture of what they say is the standard Jesus in your school either, because that's a gay man that they use that picture for. But y'all ain't really talking about that. We'll talk about this some other time.
I would say this. I got an old head that always said, the truth was wrote on stones, lies were wrote in books. As I get older, I'm starting to believe that that's very true. You go to some of the most ancient places, a lot of those things, the original artifacts are written on stones. There really ain't no books. I went to, Mexico, you go to the Maya ruins, you will see everything is still carved. You can't touch that stuff. That is just natural of what it is. And I think this is just one of those points where I think, DeSantis is on his own thing. That's, he's standing on not teaching Black history. He's really tough on the LGBTQ. Anything in regards to that, he's standing firm with that. But I'm gonna take a different route with it. I'm not even gonna give him that much power. I hope that this incites people to actually take their own time to teach themselves, teach their kids, and pour back into our own communities, because this is what I would find it hard to believe, is if you do feel that these people have oppressed you for all these years, how would you expect for them to tell you the truth in regards to what your people really invented and what their true intentions were, or impact they actually had on the culture that we know for a fact that we live in, and the real culture, not the bullshit that they celebrate in mainstream media. So I get it. I think it's ignorant. However, I hope that this does spark people to actually teach their kids and not expect for an oppressed system to lie to them. Because my sister, last time she actually had read a book in regards to what slaves were, you would think that you were going to Waffle House and they were bringing you waffles and eggs, and they were servants. So if that's where it had got to and it had been whitewashed to that point, take it out, because all you're doing is spreading bullshit anyway. And I understand that could be some people like that's foolish for you to say, but I wouldn't expect for somebody to lead me to the water that's going to be very prosperous if you've always tried to control the narrative for all these years. I get it. If that's what you want to do, cool. But make yourself aware of your own history and do your own research. Talk to your elders. Seek your own knowledge, because I don't think there's a course that anybody would give to you that would really spark the change from an oppressed system. HBCUs, I think, would be great for it, but I don't see, PWIs really pushing that to the point where they'll keep whitewashing it. I mean, to say the slaves were like waitresses and waiters, that was my sister told me. Yeah.
I will say at PWIs, they usually have a Black person teaching the African American studies, and they usually get. I can speak for all of them. I can just say for the ones that I'm familiar with, like they get down to the real deal in their African American studies class. Like,
but you know what? from what, I've talked to a few people that are in school, they're taking it upon themselves to make it more cultural.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if it's gotten to that point to where you actually have to have a heart for it, imagine those students that don't have the Black person that's in there that's actually doing the work and not just coming to get paid. You really getting half-assed the story anyway. So it's like, it's like I said, it's chestnut. Go ahead, Spirit.
No, I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, you good.
I will say this: we're not talking about it on college level though. We talk high school, middle school,
high school level, right?
And everything.
No, I'm talking about just in general. Like if my little sister just turned 17. Matter of fact, happy birthday, little sis, belated. By the time she see this, she'll know. But the last time I asked her about what did she think about slavery, and we were talking about what they were teaching them in the history books. She was in middle school at the time. They were basically, she explained it to me, one of her favorite places to go eat is Olive Garden. And that's how she would explain to me of how they said slaves were. I
totally agree with you, and I get that.
Yeah.
However, the one factor in doing the research is this is an AP course. So what the AP course is, this curriculum was created by Black activists and Black revolutionists and Black scholars and everything. So it's an AP course. So therefore, yes, in the regular history, they're trying to dilute and whitewash African-American history and slavery and all that other stuff, and that's going on nationwide. That ain't just in Florida, that's nationwide. They're not even calling them slaves no more in regular history class and all that other stuff. So I totally agree with you. However, as far as this part, and I think this is what makes it so important, is because this is an AP course. So only certain amount of kids have access to it just because of AP. Everybody's not an AP level student, to be honest. So only a certain amount of kids have access to it. But then the curriculum that was created for this AP course was created by Black scholars, by Black activists, by Black brilliance. And so therefore, when you have something teaching the truth and the realness, and that was created by us for us, and then you try to dismantle that and take it out, that's when it becomes racist, and that's when it becomes dangerous, because therefore you're actually taking away the resource of some of us learning about our true history and heritage at a younger age versus having to go the route to HBCU.
Okay, so check this out. So I see, and I appreciate you for informing me of that, because I know I've read up on it. And I wasn't informed on that level of that's how that was created. All right, so how I look at it is like, okay, we understand what the problem is, so what's the solution? So how I would still look at it, man, is that if we have those courses, we have our hands on it, we should be teaching that to our communities the best way possible. We can't, I just don't believe that what we want to see change is going to be placed into their hands and saying, okay, hey, we're going to fast forward this for you because, it's going to help you out. I don't see that. You know what I'm saying? Is because the youth don't look at it the way we looked at it. You know what I'm saying? And we may not even look at it like the way our ancestors looked at it. So it's just kind of like, if it's going to be diluted at any point, because it's only a matter of time before they even start rewriting that, or certain people touch it and do certain things with it. So it's obvious that, the AP courses that you just informed me of, and of course, critical race theory, they're attacking anything that could provide any little spark to anybody that didn't or wasn't knowledgeable of the information that's out there. And, I think it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I think the biggest point is that when we hear these things, what's going to be our course of reason to, course correct it and get it still in front of our people, so that we're not just relying on the system to provide that information for them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how, but maybe that's somebody could comment under that listen to the video and say, you know what, I think this is a great way that we could, if they start in Florida, hey, what is Florida doing within our communities to make sure we still get this information from them? If we go to Texas, if we go to Illinois, no matter where it goes to, what are we going to do from a nationwide approach to still get it in front of our kids, get it in front of adults that may not even be knowledgeable of the information, so that we ain't just looking at the problem and then creating another problem. We come up with some resolutions to, get it rectified the best way possible, because we can't expect for them to give us guns to fight them. That's how I look at it.
No,
Yeah.
and I totally
not that wasn't a response to you. I'm just saying, just in general, for people that may listen. Yeah.
No, and I understand. I'm just saying, I'm in total agreement with you.
Yeah.
My only thing is that when they do this so blatantly and openly, how much further will they go in 2024, 2025? Sooner or later, Black people ain't gonna have a pot to piss in and a right in anything, because the open racism and the disrespect and the boldness of them carrying out some of the things that they're doing right now towards us is only saying that we're going down a dangerous road in the future. And so that's my only thing, but I agree with everything you say.
You know, even with that, I would still look at it like, what's our plan of attack? What's our plan of, to get in front of that? Because I feel like it would clearly be upon us to say, we're going to let y'all strip us of everything right in front of us with no plan of action, no nothing. Because at the end of the day, we were at one point very established and had our own things. I think the fear of, let me just speak for myself. I think that a lot of people are fear of being disconnected from a system that was never created for them. I think a lot of things that may happen, yes, they are showing blatant racism in regards to it and obvious prejudice. But when do we get to a point to where we say, you know what, that doesn't matter of what they approve for us, this is what we approve for ourselves, and still start working within to get to a point that we can establish these own things? Because at the end of the day, I don't see either one of you brothers allowing anybody to do anything to you or your family that you're not going to stand for. It can't just be us that are willing to say, okay, hey, here's the resolution, this is what we're going to start working on, and this is how we're going to plan to attack this. Because at the end of the day, this is how they're moving. We have to have our own army to move too. We can't just sit and just wait for them to say, okay, hey, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We have to establish our power and our presence in some way. If not, you are right. This is the ultimate plan for the people that think and move in that evil way. But how do we respond? It's just, this they move, what's our next move? And if we don't have people in power to do that, and we don't understand the importance of having people in power to do that, that's our fault.
You heard me say it a long time. That's why you've got to make sure you're at your local polls, voting as much as possible for the people you want to be in place. I think it's a lot of fear that comes in, and I think they do this is because when you got somebody saying, Pop, what great granddad doing in this photo with this black man is being hung? What you mean? There you go, standing right there. They want to wash their hands clean that anybody in their family had anything to do with any of the things that went on in these situations. And I think this is where it's getting to the point where we got the internet now, and when you can look up and do your own research, you're able to see pictures, and you starting to notice people that's in your family that's located at these racist events. That's basically what happened. You trying to whitewash it, I'll make sure it's not there anymore, so your family members can be taken away. As they start speaking about reparations, you start to see more stuff like this. Oh, let me try my best to disconnect my family from anything like this, because they might come from my family that might have owned the Joneses, and we got a group of black Joneses that live in Greensboro, North Carolina, that we might owe $30 million to. That's gonna break my entire family. I don't know if that's how reparations gonna go, but I think that's the mentality they going at when they start looking back, and reparations might come one day. And there might be a situation where, hey, such and such, the Smith family, y'all own these slaves, you connect these whole entire family of Smiths that's black in the area, you owe them X amount of dollars, and it's gonna break their entire family. Also, the white people, some people don't want to be disconnected from a system that they comfortable with, and that's running things. We're running things, and I'm not racist, but I'm also not giving up the comfort that I have that great granddaddy provided me. Now, I didn't do anything racist, but all that land you got right there, how you think they got in your family? Yeah, you had to come up off that. And then I'm just thinking about it, this ain't also happening here. Listen, we heard about this being done in Egypt too. As you say, the truth is written in stone, where they've been going back trying to repaint the Egyptians a little bit lighter each time, a little bit lighter. Fool, Egypt is in Africa. These folks wasn't light back then. They wasn't no light-skinned people. They was dark as all get out. Y'all can try to do as much as y'all want to and say Cleopatra was looking like some white woman. It ain't food. It ain't what they ain't how it happened, they ain't how it was. Richard Pryor went over there in the 70s and said, these people on these walls as dark as I am and darker. Then you go over there now and these folks looking light skinned is on these walls. The Egyptians you see today is not the Egyptians of that time. America you see today is not the America of that time. There were no white people here at a certain time.
Now, one other part that I want to bring up about this is too, though, is, and we can't forget or be so lighthearted and concerned about our community only, because it's also a danger if we raise a whole generation who knows nothing about slavery. And I'm talking about as far as white people. If we create a whole generation of Caucasians, Mexicans, Asians, and whatever else, people who know nothing about slavery, know nothing about what Black people have done for this country and what they brought to this country, it's going to breed more hate and discrimination and stereotypical things towards us and for us, because they know nothing of what we done. And so therefore, when the society keeps labeling us as people looking for handouts, people who always begging for something, people who are lazy, people who are whatchamacallit, and a whole generation is raised that way, all you're doing is breeding more racism. It's covert racism because it's different and it's not how it used to be, but again, it is racism. And so outside of what are we doing for our communities? Yes, we have to take control of our communities. We have to do for our own in our communities and make sure that we're teaching this stuff like they used to do and our ancestors used to do, and do the word of mouth and speak the stories and tell the stories and have it passed down through storytelling and things like that. Yes, we have to do that part. Yes, we have to get our hands on our books that are written by our people or whatever and make sure we share that amongst our community. But if you raise a whole nation of people who know nothing about slavery, who know nothing about the importance of African Americans in this country, you're breeding racism and you're creating a melting pot of more discrimination, of more hate, of more race baiting and stuff against us. And so I just wanted to make sure that I said that, because again, it's a dangerous thing when you try to eliminate the impact and the importance that we had on this country.
I have to agree. I would say this, man. The history, I think, is very important. But we could just think back of this, man. I'll close with this. It's my last thoughts on this. That, as a kid, I never even thought about the negativity of what came with different ethnicities. I mean, you heard about it, but man, we playing on the playground and out at daycare, we thought nothing about how we look at life now. And I just think about these newer kids, if they're taught the correct way, they're very aware of it. I think they're actually a little bit more emotionally prepared for it because they do have so much accessibility things. And I see kids now is that they not really looking at it. It's us that know that what comes with it. So I just think that, hopefully the next generation, they're knowledgeable of it and they understand how to work together to kind of piece it and keep moving, and everybody just in so many words just kind of do their own thing and just have respect for one another, because this is what it comes down to. Replace one R for another one, man. Take away racism, get back to the respect thing. And hopefully that's just what direction that we're going into. But we can't get to the point where you try to erase us from history. But again, I will say that I hope that this actually sparks the thought that for no matter of the ethnicity, you still teach your kids real American history, because the food is going to be the food. We're not here to talk to them no way. We'll let God protect them however he wants to. But for the people that care, it should be something that you make your kids aware of, and we move forward with it, because everybody can't go anyway. And yeah, I'll leave it at that before I go somewhere else with that.
And American history is African American history.
Oh, exactly.
It's hand in hand. You can't have American history without African American.
That's why, and I ain't gonna say I hate when people say it, but that's why I call it, teach them real U.S. history. Real U.S. history. It's not black, not nothing. Real U.S. history. Well, as y'all go through everything else, when they say, hey, before this, as a matter of fact, this is a challenge some people. How y'all look at the Bible and go through every AD, all that, the same way with American history. Don't skip over nothing. All chapters mean something. Every story means something. If we looked at it that way, you'd solve a lot of your issues. You ain't skip over nothing. I know people who recite it front to back. Look at it the same way. It's just about 400 years, you're going to have to tell the real truth. Yeah.
We're going to just touch this topic real quick just to make people aware and just to keep people on their toes. I don't know if anybody knows what the doomsday clock is, but the doomsday clock is now, I think, 90 seconds away from midnight or 60 seconds away from midnight, and that's the closest that it's ever been. And so basically what the doomsday clock is, it basically tells you how close we are to doomsday. For people who don't know what doomsday is the destruction of mankind or the end of mankind. So the reason why they moved it up and it's the closest that it's ever been in history is because, one, the pandemic. So with epidemics and pandemics taking off at catastrophic rates in the world these days, that moves us closer because they're becoming harder to get a handle of or harder to get a grasp of, and they're coming so frequent and fluent that people are just falling off the face of the earth. Then the other part of that is, if you're not keeping up with it, make sure you just keep your eye out. I'm not saying that you got to research it or whatever, but just make sure that you're aware of the Ukraine and Russian war, because Russia has stated, and again, there's no proof, but what you know, you know. And so therefore, Russia has stated that if they lose this war to Ukraine, they would nuke Ukraine. And so if we go into nuclear war, or even if it's not nuclear war, and Russia just decides to nuke Ukraine and nobody else does any retaliation effects, that has a detrimental effect on the world in general, because then you got the radiation, you got the fallout and all this other stuff. It's going to cause decomposition of the earth. Is going to cause decomposition of life forms such as animals and humans, because of the radiation and the stuff that comes with it. So therefore, your people will be maybe growing extra limbs or different things like that just because of certain things that happen and stuff like that. And so therefore, that's just if Russia does it. But if somebody does decide to retaliate or to go into it, and then we are at nuclear war, let's just say the world won't be what you know it is as today, and probably half of the world will be not even in the universe, because a nuclear war would essentially eliminate Earth as we know it, and only the strong will survive, and they equip the people who have certain areas to hide into whatever, and gas masks and things of that nature to whatever, and people who can find or know how to well for natural resource of water, because once water gets contaminated, it's over, and a nuclear war is only going to contaminate water. So I just want to make sure that our viewers and listeners are mindful of what's going on in this world, so you can prepare yourself, not to scare you and not to make you become worrisome or anything, but just to educate you and to make you also be aware and to keep your eyes on certain things, so then therefore you could be prepared to the best of your ability and to make sure that you and your family are good at all costs. Fellas, do y'all have anything to add to that?
Very well said. Very well said. Very well said.
All right, so for my Black Business Minute this time around, I just want to, because of what we talked about, I just want to give a shout out to our Black authors, our Black educators, our Black activists, our Black lawyers, our Black entrepreneurs, our Black businessmen and women, because not unbeknownst to us, because it's the world that we live in, but I think we make it look so easy, or to your point, Rose, we don't even focus on it so much. We just live life and try to maneuver life and get through it. There's an attack on Black people. There's an attack on us. And so I just want to say salute to every man, woman, child that is of melanated skin, and salute to y'all, because it's not easy. And I know the stress, the pain, the traumas, the hardships, even the good times, sometimes you just go through it routinely and you don't think about it. And you just live life and you're going on the go. But I just want to salute to you, because we all know that it's not easy doing the things that you do, being as great as you are. And I just want to tell you to keep going, because at the end of the day, can't nobody stop you but you. But again, even if they try to stop you, hey, we got your back. Make sure you got your own back, and strap your boots up and keep moving. And so I just that's who the Black Business Minute is for this week. So it's kind of like a Supremely Black Person of the Week too. So Flake, I'm sorry if I kind of took a little shine from your stuff, but I know you still got something. But I just wanted to say that, and I'm done.
You on mute, my brother. But well said again, Spirit. Yeah, that's 101.
Well said, Spirits. Our Supreme Black Person of the Week is gonna go to my very own daughter, Kaya. She has graduated her school and she has passed the test for a license. She ain't got the license yet, but she done passed the test, so it's on the way. Man, if anybody's in Nashville, Murfreesboro, Madison area, out north, east, wherever you at, I need y'all to go to IG. I need y'all to follow her at Created by Kai. That's KreatedByKaii. Go on there and check out the hairstyles and stuff she's been doing. She, on the low, she's been in the kitchen doing hair since she was like 15, 16. You know what I mean? So, but she's been doing her thing for a long time. Her business number is 615-922-7169. Or you can stop by the shop where she at. She is all located on Murfreesboro Road by Mount Zion at Bow and Posh Shop. She got her own suite in there. So hit her up in the DMs, call her business line, make your appointment, get your hair braided, all this stuff that she be taking care of, get your baby hairs in, get your silk press, whatever you need, hit her up. She do wigs, she fix the wigs, she make the wigs, she do the half unit, full unit, whatever all this stuff called. She be killing it. So go on her page, check it out, set up your appointment. Shout out to my daughter, Kai.
Shout out to Kai. And also, thank you for knowing how to spell Created with a K. I appreciate you, Queen. Thank you. And then lastly, Flake, we can't regress. So the whole state of Tennessee, it don't matter if you're in Chattanooga, because remember last time you said the whole state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
So you gotta keep that same energy. If you're in Memphis, Chattanooga, whatever.
Yeah,
if you're in
Knoxville,
Tennessee, yeah.
Humboldt, Bradford, Jackson, wherever, man. Come on through.
Yeah, major shout out, little cuz. I'm proud of you, love you. Keep pushing. I'm gonna go even a little further, man. If you can book a flight to Nashville to go get your hair done, man. If you come to the Ville, tap in with her. We'll make sure we get her. Tell cuz to send me like some little examples that she wants us to show on the thing as well, so we can post her social media so people can go follow or whatever. But yeah, that's major right there, man. Doing big things, man. I expect the next report to be she got her own business where she renting out booths to other people, and she's a successful business owner. So that's what I expect the next update to be.
Either we try and get on the movie sets. You know what I mean?
And that's a win.
Yes, sir.
She might need to go to Tyler Perry Studios, because he love giving black entrepreneurs a chance. So.
And from the wigs I be seeing on his movies, he definitely need her down there.
Hey, boy, hey, I wanted to keep it black, and I was like, I'm gonna let that ride. But I was sure be like, boy, some of them
Tyler
jobs be deep.
Tyler Perry, you need to go there and creative by Kai. She got the wig installed, but she's gonna wig get you right, player.
Yeah, because a couple of them jobs they threw on fresh up out their grandmama drug. Yeah. Put that job on, go out there and act.
With that being said, y'all queen, put your crown on, tip that thing to the side, let me know y'all queen. If you are a king, put your crown on, tip that thing to the side, let me know y'all king. We are Supremely Black Podcast, and we out.